So, Ederson deal collapsed. Youri Tielemans deal confirmed. Here we go from Fabrizio Romano. Youri Tielemans will join Manchester United. £41 million release clause. What a steal. What an absolute steal. Someone who captained Belgium for the first 2 or 3 games of the World Cup, who's pivotal to Aston Villa. Obviously Premier League proven. I know that don't mean anything. Tenacious, ball-winning, creative midfielder. Can play as a 6, an 8, a 10. He's done it all. And this is someone who we wanted to sign via Anderlecht when he was there. You know, we played them in the Europa League. Him and I think Den Donker in that midfield too. And ever since those days of Anderlecht, you could just tell Youri Tielemans was about to be something special. You know, main attributes: on the ball, comfortable, reliable on the ball, looks after the ball, and he's got that element of flair as well. You know, this is a midfielder who, unlike Andre Santos, I can get behind. You know, Andre Santos is a development player that we've just wasted £50 million on, where this is £41 million on a Premier League proven solid signing. If we get Andre Santos, Youri Tielemans, and maybe like Manu Kone, for me that's a good midfield overhaul this summer. Obviously we needed it. I'm kind of glad the Ederson deal collapsed, if I'm honest. You know, we look at Ederson, what does he really offer? 27, he's never really broke into like the Brazil team. He's never really looked like he's going to make a move somewhere big. Where Andre Santos is, 4 or 5 years younger than Ederson. So it's still a massive waste of money, Andre Santos, 50 million quid. But this is not too bad. £41 million is, like I said, a steal. You know, when you look at signing Premier League proven players and players that have been in the Premier League for 4 or 5 years, like Youri has, you know, you expect to pay a big chunk of money. He's won the FA Cup with Leicester. He's won the Europa League with Aston Villa. He's, been part of Belgium's setup for a long time, since he was like a teenager, I believe. And I'm actually really excited about this. I think this is the midfield signing that we really need. You know, having him in the midfield with Bruno Fernandes and potentially Kobbie Mainoo or Manu Kone, it adds that dynamic. And like I said, he will complement Bruno Fernandes so well, because Bruno Fernandes is obviously the number 10. Yeah, unlike Andre Santos and Ederson, those two deals were midfielders that we'd have to wait to get proven on, whereas Youri, we don't need to get proved by Youri Tielemans for anything, because he's already proven himself in the Premier League. Like I said, 3-4 seasons at Leicester, 2-3 seasons at Aston Villa. He's a player that we already know what we're going to get. He's not an unknown. He's not someone who's going to come in and need to settle in period, which obviously Ederson would have needed. I still think Andre Santos needs a settling period, from the mess at Chelsea to Michael Carrick's Man United system. But for me, Youri Tielemans, massive bonus. I'd say this is like a 7 or an 8 out of 10. A really solid signing, and someone who, like I said, 41 million quid. That's an absolute steal. But let me know your thoughts. Youri Tielemans, Aston Villa to Manchester United, done deal.